Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Triple H's move to the top of WWE didn't shock many, but one former star stated that the King of Kings was criticized for it. Recently, former three-time hardcore champion Maven stated people backstage bemoaned the star due to his family connections in the company. It's common knowledge that Triple H is married to Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon. The power couple has been married since 2003 and even achieved a higher status in the company due to their alliance on and off screen. However, Maven stated that this hasn't sat well with a few backstage. In Maven's recent YouTube video, the star debunked rumors about some wrestling personalities. In the video, he stated he may have been involved in conversations behind the scenes with people who were unhappy with Triple H's position due to his connection to the McMahons. I've heard and I've maybe been involved in conversations backstage where people might just bemoan his placement and his family placement. A lot of that, myself included, was probably a little bit of jealousy and a whole heaping helping of envy at the same time. It's not something that I'm happy with, and it's definitely something that the older I get, I'm glad I was able to put that aside, Maven said. From 1605 to 1642, Triple H recently appeared on WWE SmackDown earlier this year. Triple H helped WWE enter a new era when WrestleMania XL had the crowning of several new champions. The game kicked off the new era on Monday Night Raw as he came out to congratulate Cody Rhodes. Later, he made a few more appearances across both brands. Triple H also unveiled the new tag team titles across Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. He also announced a few picks during the annual WWE Draft. On the recent edition of Friday Night SmackDown, Triple H made a surprise appearance. The King of Kings welcomed the fans as SmackDown returned to the USA Network. The backstage world of WWE has always been a place where tension, competition, and ambition run wild. It's a high-stakes game where even the most seasoned veterans can find themselves caught in the crossfire of envy, personal agendas, and power struggles. Recently, rumors began to swirl, suggesting that even someone as respected as Triple H was not immune to criticism behind the curtain. According to an ex-WWE star, a little bit of jealousy was at the root of it all. A career defined by success, Paul Triple H Levesque has built a legacy that spans multiple eras in WWE. From his early days as The Game, battling legends like The Rock and Steve Austin, to his current role as the mastermind behind NXT and WWE's creative division, Triple H has cemented his place as one of the most influential figures in the wrestling industry. But even a man with his credentials can't escape the whispers of discontent, especially in an industry as competitive as professional wrestling. His rise to power, while celebrated by many, has also drawn some ire from those who feel that his influence has shifted the dynamics backstage. A sudden wave of criticism it all began when a former WWE superstar, who wished to remain anonymous, gave an explosive interview to a podcast discussing the inner workings of WWE's creative process. The ex-star, who had spent nearly a decade with the company, opened up about the increasing influence of Triple H on the company's direction, and how that influence wasn't always received positively behind the scenes. It's no secret that Triple H has earned his spot. No one's disputing his contributions to the business, but lately, it's been a little bit tense back there, the ex-WWE star explained. He's got a vision, but sometimes that vision doesn't align with what everyone else wants or believes is best for the product. There's a little bit of jealousy in the air, to be honest. The creative divide. One of the main criticisms leveled against Triple H was his focus on pushing the younger talent from NXT over more established WWE stars. While Triple H's dedication to building the future was widely praised by fans, some within WWE felt left behind or underappreciated. He's got this thing where he's trying to push these NXT kids to the moon, the ex-star continued. Don't get me wrong, they're great, and they deserve their shot, but what about the guys who have been here, busting their asses for years? It's like they've been forgotten. Some of us felt like we were being phased out in favor of the new toys he had down in NXT. The former wrestler went on to detail how several veterans backstage had become frustrated with what they perceived as Triple H's favoritism toward the NXT roster, leaving them sidelined or stuck in meaningless storylines while the newer, younger talent took center stage. The old guard versus the new era. This perceived favoritism led to the creation of a backstage divide between what the source described as the old guard and the new era. Established superstars, some of whom had been with the company for over a decade, reportedly felt disillusioned by the fact that their years of loyalty and hard work seemed to be overshadowed by the arrival of up-and-coming wrestlers from Triple H's developmental program. There was this attitude that if you didn't come up through NXT, or if you weren't one of Triple H's guys, then you were expendable, the ex-WWE star said. It wasn't just me who felt that way. I heard it from a lot of guys who've been around a long time. Some of them even went to Vince McMahon to air their grievances. Vince McMahon's presence had always been the balancing factor, keeping both veterans and younger talent in check, but with McMahon taking a step back from the day-to-day operations, Triple H's vision had become more dominant. This shift in power dynamics reportedly caused friction among the roster. The jealousy factor. While Triple H's decisions were ultimately business-driven, the ex-WWE star suggested that part of the criticism stemmed from jealousy and fear of being replaced. Let's be real, this business is built on ego. When you've been at the top for a while, and then you see these younger guys getting all the attention, it's hard not to feel a little jealous. It's human nature. Some of the older guys backstage started feeling like they were being put out to pasture, and that's where the jealousy came in. The ex-superstar emphasized that the criticism wasn't just about NXT talent getting a push, but also about how Triple H managed relationships with veterans. Some felt that his focus on the future came at the expense of valuing the contributions of those who had already established themselves as WWE mainstays. The response to the criticism. Triple H, known for his business acumen and leadership skills, reportedly caught wind of the criticism and was not one to take it lightly. According to insiders, he called a meeting with some of the disgruntled veterans and made it clear that his goal was to create a sustainable future for WWE, not to push anyone out. He addressed it head-on, the former WWE star said. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He told the guys that, yes, there was a focus on the future, but that didn't mean the veterans were being cast aside. He made it clear that if you weren't performing, you weren't going to get a spot, whether you were in NXT or on the main roster. Despite his efforts to smooth things over, some of the tension remained. According to the ex-WWE star, a few veterans still felt slighted, while others began to understand that change was inevitable and adapted to the new environment. The future of WWE under Triple H. As WWE continues to evolve under Triple H's creative leadership, the divide between the old guard and the new era may still linger. However, with the wrestling landscape constantly shifting, Triple H's focus on nurturing the next generation may be exactly what WWE needs to maintain its relevance in the years to come. In the end, the ex-WWE star concluded, "Look, I respect Triple H. He's done amazing things for this business, and yeah, there's a little bit of jealousy backstage. But that's part of the game. In WWE, you're always fighting for your spot, no matter who you are."